Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be looking at this position that comes from a very famous game played between Kramnik and Leko in 2001 in Budapest, if I'm not mistaken. It is white to move, and I would recommend you to pause the video and come up with the way white should play. Right. So this position takes some calculation. White needs to calculate all the forcing moves. So all the forcing moves are basically bishop takes d5 and e4 basically. So let's look at the move bishop takes d5. E takes d5. Now white has two moves in this position. White can play bishop d6, which is probably the best move. However, if white makes the move rook takes d5, it is winning, except that black has this move queen d6. If not this move queen d6, white would be winning. So that is the problem in this variation. Of course, white can still press in this position. I mean, black has a weak pawn, but Leko, being the greatest defender of all time, possibly, will definitely find a way how to save this position. I mean, it's not winning for white. Kramnik in the game played the move e4, but black played the move bishop c6 to, defend this knight. And here, I think Kramnik made a very bad move, rook to d6. I think a better move would have been rook a6. The problem is that after this move, rook a8, I don't think that white has no advantage anymore. White definitely needs to do something quickly, or at least it looks like it, right? But it isn't so clear as to how white should continue this position. So we calculated this variation with this move. I forgot to show this one other variation. We calculated the move bishop takes d5, e takes d5, rook takes d5. And we concluded that the move queen b6 is okay here for black. And bishop d6 is also a move to consider. Black can make the move rook to e8. And on the move queen b7, black can make the move queen f6, keeping in mind rook to d8 on the move queen takes d7. And on the move rook takes d5, probably queen e6. And on the move bishop f4, knight f6. I made this analysis of the line. I concluded that white is better, but I don't know if white is winning here. White can still try with a move like rook to g5, I'm sure. So it looks like all of these variations don't work because black has all these defensive tricks, like especially this move queen b6, and sometimes he also has this move queen f6. That is why you should, after all the forcing moves, you should look for other moves. So you concluded that all the forcing moves don't work, or they can give white an advantage, but maybe there's something better. And that is when you notice that white's pieces are kind of loose, because this move queen b6 is always going to come with a tempo to get off the pins. Black has some severe pin problems in this position. That is why white needs to think about some sort of prophylactic move. And the other thing is that white should ask himself the question, what is black's next move? It's pretty hard to say what is black's next move. Black's next move probably could be a move like rook to a8 in this position. So with all that information, with black, possibly playing this move rook to a8, the next move, or queen b6. Queen b6 is also a possible next move. With all that information, to parry both of those ideas, queen f6 also. To parry all of those ideas, white must make this move queen a1. This move queen a1 is super strong, and it's a move that is very easy to miss, and the world champion at the time, Kramnik, missed this move. Queen a1 is very strong because now rook to a8 is impossible. I'll show why. queen b6 does not attack the queen anymore, so knight is just hanging. And queen f6 also does not attack the queen, because the queen will always be defended by the rook. Bishop takes g2 is never possible because of this move rook to d7. Rook a8 is a possibility. The problem is that white is in time to get this variation. And now the problem is that the black queen is pinned. Black is just not in time to get out of all the pins, because on rook takes a7, queen a7, white just wins the knight. That is why, I mean, queen a1 is just such a beautiful move. Queen e7 is definitely a move that you should calculate, but you should recognize that on the move bishop takes d5, ed5, rook takes d5. Black still has some extreme problems with this knight on d7, and it's a very beautiful win. On the move rook to d8. Okay, I'm sure that there are many moves that win in this position. I think that the black position is just totally paralyzed. But the simplest is this move bishop to c7, threatening the exchange. And on the move rook back to e8, now bishop to a5. And now black cannot defend the knight. It's a very nice bishop maneuver. I just have to show that. So what to do? Now white is just threatening bishop takes d5, ed5, and rook d5, and just to win the knight on d7. And there's nothing that black can do. Queen e8 is maybe the only move that creates some sort of complication. The problem is that white can make this move e4, which is, and on the move bishop to c6, white now changes ideas. Now this move bishop to d6. So it looks like white was winning something through all the pins, but now white just simply trapped black's rook, and he's going to win the exchange. And he will win the c-pawn because it is just too weak, and the black pieces are totally paralyzed. I don't even see the next move for black. I mean, I analyzed two moves in this position. I analyzed that black can make like a move like h6, and then white makes the move h4, for instance. And then, you know, by that, white is just asking, what does black do? I mean, black can probably try to get some sort of counterplay with the c-pawn. I guess that was the only move. But I saw that on the move rook to c1, for example, just threatening the c-pawn. Bishop to b5. White can make this move queen a3, and I don't see a move for black. I mean, on the moves knight f6, there's always going to be the move e5, for example, or just you play bishop takes f8 or something. It is just so terrible. But rook c1 just wins the pawn on c4. h6, I basically have the same variation, h6, h4. If black makes another waiting move, white can make another waiting move. I have this move, knight f6, in my analysis, and e5, knight to d5, bishop c5. Now we just win the pawn. Knight c3, queen c3, bishop g2, and queen e3, the only move that wins, but good enough, because now the bishop and the rook are hanging. The rook is still trapped, and black has nothing in this position. White's rooks are just too powerful. So, I mean, I just analyzed all these variations to the end. I saw that, you know, I wanted just to show how black has absolutely no chances. However, when you're calculating this variation, you probably should just stop here, because you just realize that white is one way or another going to win this position with an extra exchange. Even if, you know, white makes some errors and he doesn't win the c-pawn, it's still going to be winning in any endgame. That is this queen a1 move Kramnik missed. And again, when calculating variations, you have to calculate first the move bishop takes d5, ed5, and rook takes d5. And you have to see that there is this move queen b6 there, which saves the day for black. Then you have to look at black's defensive resources. Black, in some variations, is going to threaten the move rook to a8. In some variations, he's going to threaten the move queen b6 and sometimes queen f6. So the move that stops all of that is this move queen back to a1. And you have to ask yourself the question sometimes, what is black's next move? If your variations don't work, you have to find a prophylactic move. Although it's very difficult to resist, you know, making a move like bishop takes d5 or e4 as Kramnik did in the game, because of course it looks like white needs to do something immediately, and he has to, it looks like black's pieces are terrible, and he has to do something. And the move bishop takes d5, for example, and even the move e4 as what Kramnik played, give white an advantage. The thing is that white just needs to find this move queen a1 to win the game, because black was able to hold this position after the move e4, and they ended up getting a draw. So it's just amazing how even Kramnik sometimes misses such possibilities, but it's difficult, and everyone cannot see everything, right? All right, so if you have any other positions that you want me to show, please leave them in the comments. All right, thanks.